guys, welcome back to another one. So just starting off where we left off with the last one and finishing off the rest of the glass on this side of the mould. So yeah, I'll just keep it short and sweet and get stuck into it. Enjoy. Alrighty guys, it's the following afternoon. I had all day off today. So yeah, I was wrecked after last night. That just sucked. But we're back into it now. I'll take the 300 gram chop strand matting off the roller and I'll put the 600 on now, and we're going to go through and do the couple of layers of 600. So the plan is I'm going to do 2 layers at a time. So I'm going to do a 600, and then while that layer is still wet, I'm going to do another 600 over the top. Just makes a bit more sense to me to do it that way, as it's already going to be wet. So if I put another layer on, there's more chance of the resin to wet it out. It'll just be easier than to do 1 layer of 600 all the way along and then start again. By the time I start again, this will be dry. So yeah, it doesn't make much sense doing it that way. I'm doing it with a laminating resin, polyester now, so we're away from the vinyl ester. The vinyl ester was just for this first coat. So I believe this is going to be a bit easier this time, just because the kick time for the vinyl ester is like 10 to 15 minutes at 2%, and that's around 25 degrees Celsius, which is what we got, which is what we had yesterday. Yeah, 10 to 15 minutes, which is it's a bit rough when you're doing it by yourself. But this polyester that I'm doing today, its gel time is between 35 and 45 minutes at 2% in 25 degrees Celsius. So I think I'm going to have a better time with this one. I'll have time to get the stuff on, clean the gear, have another run at it. I think, yeah, we'll see, but I think it's going to be better. The only difference being is I'm going to be putting it into a heavier mat now. So it's going to be a bit harder to get the resin through the mat, but I've got that extra time to work with now. Okay, just to show you the difference between the 2 weights. So you can see my fingers through that pretty easily. A lot of light. That's the 300. And this one's the 600. Not as much light, can't see my fingers as easily. I'll hold them up together. 300, 600. So some would say twice the 300. That's what we're working with. So it's going to take a fair bit more to get the resin through it. Alrighty guys, so just finished laying up that section there. That's 2 layers of 600. It's just started to kick now. I think the next layers I won't do the bits around the corner. I'll just do the flanges separately, because if you can see up the top here, I got a bit of a mess to clean up there. It started to kick while I was working down here, and it kicked while it was folded over. I thought I'd have a bit of time to get up there and straighten it up, but yeah, it was already set by the time I got up there. So I'll have to grind all that off. So even that second layer, you can see there is a bit of air in that laminate. I did try and roll it out as best I can. The good thing is the first layer was actually rolled out really well. It was nearly fully transparent. So it is just that second layer of 600, so I'm not too worried. Yeah, but this polyester resin is a lot easier to work with. It's probably 40-minute gel time, so they were on the money with that. So it's real good. And saves a lot of gear too. Like I only used 1 brush, 1 roller for the whole thing. That roller I could still use right now if I was going to do that second panel. But yeah, I might leave it for now. I might pick back up again tonight. It took me about just under 2 hours to do that. Those two layers there. So another section done. That's 2 layers of 600 again. Small overlap by about 30 mil or so, 40 mil. This one wet out a lot better than the first one. You can see it's a bit hazy on that one. This one's a lot more transparent. probably due to the fact that I didn't do the flanges at the bottom and the top this time, so I had more time to work on the main sections. So yeah, that was a rookie error. I won't do that again. I'll just come through and put another piece in there, or another 2 pieces in there later on after I've done the rest of them. Alrighty guys, another afternoon. We're going to do the next 2 panels. So last night we did these 2 panels behind me. It's 2 layers of 600 chop strand mat. It feels quite solid, a little bit of flex in it still, but we'll assess it once I've got everything with double 600 on it. I do believe that it may have demolded in some spots. Maybe not. Might just be hitting that batten inside, but I just thought sounds like there's a bit of a void. That feels better there, but I think it is just the batten behind there. So yeah, we're gonna do this next 2 sections tonight. I might try and time lapse this one, or at least this one. It is roughly about 2 hours each panel, so 4 hours total, I'm guessing, to do both of those. Yeah, and it's taking, I think it takes about 6 or 7 litres to do both of those. So yeah, quite a bit of resin, but more than I calculated anyway. More than what the internet, well, it's drinking more resin than what the internet said 600 would, but oh well, it takes what it takes. I sort of figured it out with this one. I just kept laying up resin until I seen that the glass was soaked. That's what I did on this one anyway. This one not so much. I did put a lot of resin into it, but before I put what looked like I needed 1 more litre, before I put that in, I got the roller, the fin roller, and went through, and it actually pulled all the resin to the surface and wet out the rest of the glass without that extra litre. So I'll be a little bit more conscious of that in these next 2 panels. So I might not use as much resin as I thought I might. Just before I start cleaning up, it's so tempting just to like split the mold just to see what the backside looks like the side that's in on the plug at the moment. It's so tempting, but yeah, of course I won't do that. It's way too flimsy, but I couldn't help myself, so I've actually split the mold at the flange here, and it's a bit hard to see there, but yeah, if you get a torch down there, that surface in there, that gel coated surface, looks just spot on. Nice and smooth, nice and flat. It's real good. And I did it on the other end as well. I just can't help myself. Alrighty guys, I do get comments saying that I don't show much work being done, and this is pretty much why. You'll see it's pretty monotonous. This is a lot of time gone in here. This is a time lapse on the GoPro, and I've even sped it up during the editing process. So yeah, it does take a long time for the bits that I'm doing. Of course, as we get a little bit more technical on smaller aspects of the job, I'll show a bit more work being done, but this is the reason so far. So this is about 2 minutes or so of a time lapse of what it took just to put these 2 layers of 600 on this one panel. So I'll leave you to watch this. If you're not keen on watching this bit, just skip forwards a couple of minutes. Alrighty. I think I'm starting to work this out. That took 5 litres for that section. I know it's a little bit smaller than the other sections, but yeah, I would have thought it would take about the same. Bit of a shame, but it's just over half a litre that will be waste, unfortunately, because I thought I was going to need more. But what I figured out is I wet the surface first, put the cloth on, wet the top of the cloth, and yeah, just do that in little sections. You might see in the time lapse that I just did, I was doing little sections at a time. As one section wets out, because it's the resin breaks down the binder in the chop strand matting, so it takes a while to do that. So I wet out a bit, then I wet down the next section down. As that's breaking down the binder, I actually get the small fin roller and roll out the section that I've just done above it. And yeah, I've saved a lot of resin, whereas I was pretty much trying to roll the air out with the roller with resin on it last night. And yeah, I wasted a lot of resin doing that, apparently. So yeah, just did little sections at a time and rolled it out with a fin roller, and that brought all the resin to the top and got a really nice lean laminate now. There's still little patches with air in them. I did dab them out or chip them out with a brush, and they just sort of popped back out again. Not too worried about it. It's only little patches, but yeah. So I'm just gonna wait for that to kick a bit and the temperature to get out of it before I do this other part. I have talked to a professional fiberglasser. I was chatting to him last night on Facebook as I was laying these things up, and he said to watch your overlaps because they might heat up a fair bit. So that's an overlap onto the bit that's already cured. But if I did another overlap here, that would be 4 lots of 600 with resin in it that would heat up quite a bit. So last night I sat here while this one kicked and measured the temperature. The hottest I got it was 50 degrees. So that was up on the, yeah, so that's getting close to 50 degrees there now. There's 50. So, yeah. Not sure what these greyed out bits are, because that was clear. So I don't know if it's just it kicking. But that was rolled out really well and wet out really well. So, yeah, not sure what's going on there. But, yeah, maybe it's too much resin. It's come to the top and sort of clouded it. I don't know. But yeah, there's definitely patches there that are getting 50 degrees. So yeah, I wouldn't want to double that up, because I doubt it means double the heat. But the issue I think is with the heat is you don't want it to shrink and contract and pop off the, like, pre-release off the mold, off the plug, sorry. Alrighty guys, another section done. Just behind me there. That used, we'll say, just over 5 litres, and I did this a different way again. So I'm just trialing different methods. This one, what I did was wet out the surface, put the first cloth on, quickly wet out the top of the first cloth, then put the second cloth on, and then wet out through both the cloths and tried to roll it out. So in addition to the extra thick flanges that I'll be putting on this, so I'll put 4 layers of 600 on the flanges at about 200 long. So it'll come onto the mold a fair distance, 4 layers thick all the way around. And then I also want to make some sort of structure in the middle. So what I'm thinking, you can't do it with anything that's going to be too solid, because I wasn't aware of this, but I was told that it will actually print through to the other side. You'll get a lump on the other side when the resin dries and shrinks in. It'll actually push the wood down into the mold. So a way to combat that I was actually looking at getting some 25 or 30 mil irrigation pipe. It's still pretty squishy, and doing like a sort of a diagonal bracing, and then up through the center and across. We'll have a bulkhead in the middle on the outside to help rolling and keep it stiff on the floor, and then from the front again, diagonal, diagonal, straight, straight, and then the bulkhead on the end there and one on the end here. And yeah, so I think the irrigation pipe will be squishy enough that when it wants to shrink and heat up and stuff, it will actually just squish the irrigation pipe, not by much, but it's pretty much just there. The job of the irrigation pipe isn't to provide any strength, it's just to form the fiberglass into a bridge shape, so a lump going up that way. And yeah, I think it will hold it enough to the point where the fiberglass will set, and if it gets a bit hot, the irrigation pipe probably will melt inside that channel, but it doesn't matter. It's only there to hold this thing in shape. Alrighty guys, shed's starting to cool down now, so we're going to get these last two sections done, and then yeah, I went and picked up this poly pipe that I was talking about. As you can see, it squishes quite easily, so I don't think we're going to have any dramas with any print through it. Alrighty guys, last section done there. 4.5 litres, so pretty close. I'm probably going to say that this is my best wet out panel that I've done. There's still some patches in there, but nothing to be worried about. Alrighty guys, we'll stop that one there. So a bit of a longer episode this week. I'm going to try and keep them shorter from now on, probably under the 15-minute mark. Yeah, I think that's sort of like a good target. But anyway, we've got all that side glassed up, all except for the flanges. And of course I mentioned that little bit of a structure that I'm going to put through the mould on the outside just to keep it a bit more rigid. Of course, big thanks to Trojan Fiberglass too for looking after us. So I'll leave the link down in the description for those guys, their website there. Go check it out if you're looking for any fiberglass gear. It's a really easy site to use, and I think it could possibly even be the only fiberglass website with prices and everything on there. So that's really helpful for if you want to find out anything for quoting jobs or anything like that. Go check it out. So yeah, stay tuned. Let us know what you think about the new logo I designed. It's still needs a bit of tweaking, but yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. But let us know what you think. Catch us on the next one.